into the Cypher. Prepare for another all night.
On the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
773-591-1690. Let's talk to Creighton. Creighton, what's going on tonight, man?
Forward down the field, a charging team that will not get,
What the heck was that, man?
What was that? Was that something we should know here?
Is that some Detroit nonsense you dropping on us, man?
For all you Chicago folks, that is the Detroit Lions gridiron like fight song. So I'm sure y'all heard all last time y'all at Ford Field. Heard every time we score a touchdown, we play that song.
No, we heard Tumbleweed running down the street, but I'm sorry.
Oh, please. Okay. Well, I won't go there. I'm going to be nice.
I know you are. I know you are. Go ahead.
I'm at my mama and daddy's house back at home in Detroit. So I'm going to play nice today.
Play nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
First of all, so as this game progresses, first of all, I have heard you all, say what the Bears breakdown was. I'm going to tell you the key to why the Bears lost this game. Honestly, I thought they should have won this game. If they would have started McCown, they would have won this game. But the main reason why you guys lost is because of the Lions' defense and the ability of them to be able to stop the run. The two of the biggest plays in that game, the 4th and 1, they stopped the run with Michael Bush. The 2-point conversion, they stopped the run. When you hold Matt Forte, who honestly I feared in that game because I thought he was going to be you all's biggest weapon. You stopped the run against them, you put it all on color, a hurt color. And the more they kept coloring that game, I kept saying, yes, 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 because it was obvious he was hurt. And for Trestman to keep him in that game like that, he did a disservice to the city of Chicago. Like I care. And he did this service to Jay Cutler because there was no way in the world he could have kept playing that game.
But Creighton, look at what he was doing. It's not like he was out there throwing 5 picks. He had a decent game. He had a good enough game for the Bears to win. Matt Forte was going down easier. Matt Forte was going down easier than a stripper at the factory, man.
And give the Lions run defense. Give the Lions run defense credit. They've been stopping the run well all year.
Is the factory still open?
I have no idea.
Excuse me?
I was asking, well, you probably wouldn't know. You're a Detroit guy. The factory.
Exactly.
So.
The factory. I know about factory. Trust me.
But here's the thing. It's not the run game that – here's the biggest thing. And this was something to be anticipated with the game against Detroit. Whenever you run a cover 2, whenever you drop into a prevent defense, it doesn't work against teams when you have a likes of Calvin Johnson because they eat you up on the chunk plays all day long. So when he can step out there and get 15 yards, a 23-yard pass, you can prevent all you want. Calvin Johnson's going to get those touches.
It's pick your poison. If Calvin don't beat you, Reggie Bush will. He had 100 yards today. You play a cover 2 or the prevent, whatever it is, all it does is open up the run game, and the Lions showed that today. I'm going to be totally honest. I'm usually skeptical of the Lions, especially coming off of a bye week. I don't think they played well at all. Honestly, I think we played just well enough to win. But good teams do that. And hopefully, I think now, for the Lions fans at least, I know y'all don't care, but we're finally showing signs that we're a good team because good teams get lucky wins. And I'll be honest, today was an ugly and unfortunate win for us. But you know what, though? I'll take it.
Get out of here, man.
Later. What's interesting about these two teams is that statistically, they looked very similar. Both teams had 19 first downs. Detroit had 364 yards to the Bears 350. Each had a turnover apiece. So when you look at them statistically, they were pretty much evenly yoked in regards to those type of stats. And to be honest, the Bears gave this game away by making some play calling choices that were not favorable. That 4th and 1, let's be honest, the interception that Cutler threw in the end zone, that was almost like a momentum swing at that point. That's when everything kind of started moving downhill and backwards because that should have at least had been a touchdown, if not 3 points minimum. So giving Detroit the ball to march down from the 20 and come back down, I mean, that was to me where the pendulum swing really began at that point.
No, I can agree with that.
I mean, and
even more so in the 4th and 1 play.
And even though Reggie Bush had 100-yard games, here's the thing. I'm not to downplay it, but good running backs have 100-yard games? That's almost become the standard in the NFL. If you're a running back and you don't have a 100-yard game, it's kind of like, what did you do today? Did you earn your check? I mean, so granted, I'm not downplaying it. Reggie Bush has been exceptional playing with Detroit. Probably the best season I think he's had since I've watched him in the NFL. Outside of being injury, before he was kind of more of a 4th and 1 kind of guy. Now they realize that he's an every down back, that he doesn't have to be limited just to those situations. Detroit for him has been wonderful. So I'm not going to play down what he did, but at the same time, I don't think the Bears were running their offense through Matt Forte either. They were using Marshall and Jeffries and even Bennett when it was appropriate. So they were spreading the ball in different ways. I don't think they were trying to make this on the ground type game.
What was the thinking with that 2-point conversion call, running right up the middle and saying all of that, saying that your running game has been horrible all day. And they're going to try to run right up the gut at the strength of the Lions defense when you really need 2 points, like the most needed 2 points of the game. You're going to run right at their strength, Fairley and Sue.
Right.
What's up? Exactly.
I do agree. There was some play calling today that made me scratch my head and said, Mark Trestman, what exactly are you thinking? It's not. And today might be one of the first games I've seen him be, I guess, a risk taker, but in a way that I didn't think was beneficial at all. Like, I'm okay with taking the risk, but the play calling that accompanied the risk did not work for me at all.
Exactly. And this is really the first game where you hear a lot of people kind of getting on Trestman a little bit more so than you've heard all year. And a lot of people kind of looking sideways at him like, all right, man, the honeymoon is kind of over now for him. He's kind of been getting that look and that talk from Bears fans.
Well, look at it this way. Bears fans the honeymoon is over with Cutler. They think that though this is a contract year, that he should be, cast out, when the year is over. And I want to caution people. If you believe he is to be cast out, I want you to look around the NFL right now and tell me what you think. And I'm not saying this to downplay Cutler's talent, but it isn't like you're going to go into free agency or even go into a draft and get better than what you currently have. And people need to be realistic about this. Remember, Cutler, being where he is in his career, has had 7 different offensive schemes that he's had to work in. That's a big deal. The reason you might see a certain amount of success, like, say, with Alex Smith, is because Andy Reid buys into what he can do, and there's a little bit of stability. Jay Cutler has not had that stability. So before you want to decide he's not good enough, take in consideration there's been no consistency for him, period, throughout his career, even here in Chicago.
People are so stupid about getting rid of Cutler. Remember, everybody wanted Jason Campbell to
I knew that was wrong.
And then that San Francisco game came last year. And that was the end of that.
Look, I was like, Jason Campbell comes to Chicago way of the Redskins as a starter, way of the Raiders as a starter, now to Chicago. He's had 2 opportunities to show that he has the ability. And it didn't work. And now he's in Cleveland. The bottom line is I didn't buy into that one way or the other.
Okay, so before that then, Caleb Haney came in and threw a touchdown in the NFC title game, and all of a sudden Caleb Haney is the greatest quarterback in Bears history. Remember that? He was supposed to replace Cutler. The whole thing is people are so thirsty, so hungry, whichever way you want to go, to get rid of Cutler, that anybody that comes in and does anything that even has on a Bears uniform, they're going to be wanting them to replace Cutler. And like I said, it might have been some of that stuff I mentioned earlier, the fact that he isn't smiling in the camera, he isn't nice to his teammates. Why are people in this town so desperate to want to like the people that they root for?
Here's what I like.
Why do you have to like Jay Cutler? Why does he have to be happy-go-lucky all the time?
You could do all those things and still lose your job. Ask Alex Smith how that works out. Yeah. You could be the perfect guy. You could be friendly. You could not speak out when you feel like you are being dealt the short end of the stick. And he never once said anything. So I don't have an issue with the fact that Jay Cutler isn't Mr. Charming. I do feel that he has a good skill set and ability. And granted, he's not quite where I thought he would be at this point in the season with Trestman, because Trestman is known to make quarterbacks better, but yet there's also a lot that they've had to address. This is the first time that you can honestly say, think about this, that the Bears have had offensive weapons. When was the last time you made that statement about this team? This is the first season between having obviously going out to get Brandon Marshall, and we kind of crossed our fingers like, is this going to work or is he going to blow up and be nuts? And it turns out, he's a great guy. He's everything you want him to be. You draft Jeffries, he had some injuries, but he's back this year. And even though he makes mistakes, this is almost like a rookie season for him because of the fact that he missed last year. So now you've got 2 good, solid receivers. They go out and get Bennett as a tight end. By the way, the return of the tight end is back in Chicago. They're not blocking. They're actually catching, passes. They actually can spread the field. The question now, we talked about the running game. I'm not in love with it, but as long as Forte can step it up a bit, it can work. This is the first season you've seen an offense that has opportunity, not to mention, even though the offensive line might make mistakes, it's still the best line we've seen in, 10 years? Not to be funny, at least 5. And you're talking about a line, half of it is rookies. This is promising. The Bears made a commitment to offense. We talked about that. So it's not going to be perfect. Cutler finally has weapons. It isn't week in and week out what you want it to be. And let's just call this what it is. He comes back from an injury. He's out for 2 weeks, so he's a little rusty. But even with rust, he didn't still look bad. Bottom line, he didn't look like, oh, wow, he was just some throws were a little under. Like you said, there was an ankle injury, which would explain why he wasn't planting. The mechanics didn't seem right. But overall, why people are so quick to throw him under the bus, Farouk, I'm with you on this. I just don't understand.
It's just a thing where I don't know. It's not because it was before the NFC title game. People hated him. They hated him way before then. Whatever quarterback they bring in, people can't stand this guy.
The only quarterback that Chicago has ever liked has been who?
Jim McMahon. The punky QB.
The punky QB. That's it.
And he was very average, honestly. I'm not old enough to remember, but if you look at his numbers through his career, he was very average at best.
But he was the team that had a whole lot of pizzazz to it, and I think that was part of it. I think people like Jim Miller. I don't think people so much had an issue with Jim Miller. I think that for good or bad, they kind of accepted him. He had a good season. Didn't they go like 13-3 when he was quarterback?
In like 2001, I think, or something.
I mean, so I don't think people really had an issue with Jim Miller per se. But he was also very likable.
But why does that matter? Cutler is better than all of those guys. Jim Harbaugh as well. He's better than all of them.
Man, that's my boy.
But people have to like him for.
But think about it. People don't like Jim Harbaugh as a coach because he doesn't try to sugarcoat things. Him and Belichick are not liked a lot because of their approach. Like, you don't have to like me, but my goal is to win.
773-591-1690. Bears thoughts. Are the Bears done? Who should be starting now? I would really love to hear that from some of the fans out there.
And why should they be starting?
Brandon, what's going on, brother?
It's all good. I tell you guys, this is all systematic, man. That's what it is. And with the backup quarterback, it's showing you. I would definitely go with the backup. I want to break up a couple of points in here.
Why before you keep going, you say you would definitely go with McCown. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I will, because his pocket's presence is much better than Color. He step up. He feels the pressure on either side. He also does check down so much better. If it's a play that's called to Marshall, he just doesn't stand there and stare at the guy. Even on the interception, when you look at it, that he threw in the end zone, the guy had like 3 guys around him. I mean, this is what Color do.
But Brandon, bro, 6 quarters. You have seen 6 quarters of McCown, really. You saw the Green Bay game, and you saw the second half of the Washington game. You're already ready to get rid of Cutler off of that?
Because, right, you know why? Because this is all systematic. It's just the system. It's not about the quarterback. It's the system.
Okay.
That's why. Okay. And he's going to prove that to you if he starts against Baltimore.
Interesting.
And this is the point I wanted to make. It's a position where it's not highlighted. But, guys, I'm going to tell you, over the last couple of weeks, Roberto Garza is brutal. He's been getting his butt handed to him. He's been getting whooped. He's old, guys. We got to move on from that position. And, B.J. Ronzi handed it to him. I know he's a pretty good player, but even Green Bay letting you know, they're not even re-signing the guy. They making him earn it. And when you look at today, Nick Fairley is a bust. I don't care what nobody say. He's eating and feeding off Adamakan Suit. If he was playing with another team, you wouldn't even hear of Nick Fairley. It's due to the fact that he's with Sue. Sue gets the attention and double team, and this is how this guy is eating. And I think it was a bad game play calling by Trestman today. Based on our receivers, you throw to set up the run. Forget the run. You get yourself a 14-point lead, then you run the ball. We take advantage of these Detroit Seagulls, which was brutal today out there, guys. They've been brutal the last couple of games, giving up a long touchdown from the passing situation. We should have passed, and then run the ball. Trestman had a bad game plan, and Jay Cutler didn't hurt his ankle, guys. It didn't hurt no ankle. It was a groin. They all covered that up. It was groin all day long. Because you're looking at all these other shows today for us, after the game highlights. You didn't see no ankle get rolled nowhere. It was the groin. He shouldn't have been back. It's about the money. Love you guys. Peace.
All right. Thanks a lot, Brandon. Let's go to Lamar on the south side. What's going on, Lamar?
Hello? Oh,
hey,
hello.
how you doing?
Hey, Lamar.
Oh, man, I'm doing good. I spoke to you guys several weeks ago, but I do maintenance at a hospital, so sometimes when I have to talk to you guys, I have to run into the closet so they don't call me.
Keep it in the closet.
but man, you guys, I mean, that was inexcusable. You know what? I've been Cutler one of his biggest advocates when everybody says about this stuff, and I say, well, Cutler is still a top 10 quarterback. This game let me know that he's not great, and that he will not be great, and that the Bears will have to look for another quarterback, because Great quarterbacks know how to win. I mean, you look at Aaron Rodgers, you look at Tom Brady, you look at Drew Brees. They make up for the things that they teams lack. You look at the game tonight against Dallas and New Orleans, and you see that Dallas has ultimate talent. Drew Brees doesn't really have that replica squad, and he gets the job done. You see what I'm saying? And that's what it is about Jay Cutler is that, I love him, I love his arm, I love his attitude. Well, love, what I mean? But you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I got you.
But the guy is not that guy. He's like a Luol Deng. You know what I'm saying? He can give you 30, I guess, on every night, and then he can have real big games, but he's not the guy to put you over the top.